Feral dogs in Europe are increasingly being recognized as a significant factor in local ecosystems, sometimes even emerging as a new type of predator. As they adapt to wild conditions, these dogs often form packs and exhibit behaviors similar to other wild canines like wolves. Their presence can disrupt local wildlife populations, particularly prey species such as small mammals, birds, and even livestock, leading to changes in the ecosystem dynamics. In some cases, feral dogs have become integrated into the ecosystem, filling niches left by other predators or competing with them for resources. This adaptation can lead to a complex relationship with the environment, where feral dogs might help control overpopulated species but also pose a threat to endangered ones. However, the ecological impact of feral dogs can vary widely depending on the region, the availability of food, and the presence of other predators. In some areas, they might contribute to a balanced ecosystem, while in others they can cause significant ecological harm, leading to conflicts with human activities such as farming and conservation efforts. The situation calls for careful management and further study to understand and mitigate the effects of feral dogs on Europe's ecosystems. Feral dogs in Europe are increasingly evolving into a population of wild dogs, adapting to the wild and forming stable packs. Over time, these feral dogs are beginning to exhibit behaviors and characteristics more commonly associated with wild canines, such as wolves. As they adapt to their environments, these wild dogs are becoming more adept at hunting, scavenging, and surviving without human assistance. They have started to fill ecological niches, sometimes competing with or even replacing traditional predators in certain areas. This transformation into wild dogs signifies a significant shift, as they are no longer just stray or abandoned pets, but are becoming a distinct and established part of the ecosystem. The emergence of these wild dogs poses new challenges and opportunities. On one hand, they might help control populations of certain species, contributing to a balanced ecosystem. On the other hand, their presence can lead to conflicts with humans, especially in rural or semi-urban areas where they might prey on livestock or compete with native wildlife. Understanding the dynamics of these wild dog populations is crucial for managing their impact on local ecosystems and human communities in Europe. Feral dogs in Europe are becoming wild in various regions, particularly in areas where human populations are sparse and there are abundant natural resources or prey. Some of the key regions where feral dogs are increasingly becoming wild include Eastern Europe. Countries like Romania, Bulgaria, and parts of Russia have seen significant populations of feral dogs that are adapting to the wild. In rural and forested areas, these dogs often form packs and live off the land, hunting small animals and scavenging for food. Southern Europe. In countries like Greece, Italy, and Spain, feral dogs are commonly found in rural areas, mountainous regions, and even on some islands. The Mediterranean climate and varied terrain provide ample opportunities for these dogs to survive and thrive independently from humans. The Balkans, with its mix of forests, mountains, and rural areas, is another region where feral dogs are turning into wild dogs. The complex geography and lower human density in certain areas allow these dogs to establish territories and live in a more wild state. The Carpathian Mountains. This mountain range, which stretches across Central and Eastern Europe, including parts of Slovakia, Ukraine, and Poland, offers a natural habitat for feral dogs to become wild. The rugged terrain and extensive forests provide a suitable environment for packs to hunt and live in the wild. Rural and abandoned areas across Europe. In areas where human activity has declined, such as abandoned villages or rural regions with low population density, feral dogs are more likely to adapt to the wild. These environments offer less human interference and more opportunities to develop behaviors typical of wild canines. In these regions, the transformation of feral dogs into wild dogs is influenced by factors like the availability of food, the presence of other predators, and the level of human interaction. As they continue to adapt, these wild dog populations are becoming a more permanent and impactful part of the European landscape. Feral dogs evolving into wild dogs in Europe have the potential to be part of rewilding efforts, but this possibility is complex and comes with significant challenges. Potential benefits. In areas where native predators like wolves have disappeared or are in low numbers, wild dogs could help control populations of prey species such as deer, rabbits, or smaller mammals. This could contribute to restoring ecological balance in certain regions. Wild dogs could occupy ecological niches left vacant by the loss of other predators. They might help maintain biodiversity by preventing overpopulation of certain species that could otherwise degrade the environment through overgrazing or other impacts. Over time, wild dogs could undergo natural selection, adapting better to their environment and becoming more integrated into local ecosystems. This could lead to the emergence of a more stable, self-sustaining population that contributes to the health of the ecosystem. Challenges and risks. Unlike true wild species, wild dogs have a mixed genetic background which might not be ideally suited to the ecosystems they inhabit. This can lead to instability in populations and unpredictable ecological impacts. Wild dogs might pose a threat to livestock, pets, and even humans, leading to conflicts with local communities. This can result in efforts to control or eradicate these populations, undermining rewilding goals. Wild dogs could compete with or displace native predators like wolves or foxes, potentially harming the balance of the ecosystem. They might also prey on endangered species, adding to conservation challenges. Actively incorporating wild dogs into rewilding projects would require careful management to ensure they contribute positively to the ecosystem. This might involve monitoring populations, controlling numbers, and ensuring they don't pose a threat to humans or livestock. While wild dogs could theoretically be part of rewilding efforts, their inclusion would need to be carefully evaluated on a case-by-case basis. They could provide ecological benefits in certain situations, but their unpredictable nature and potential for conflict require careful consideration and management. Rewilding efforts might focus more on restoring native species like wolves or lynxes, which have clearer roles in the ecosystem, while addressing the presence of wild dogs as part of broader conservation and wildlife management strategies. The evolution of feral dogs becoming wild dogs in Europe will be shaped by a combination of environmental pressures, ecological interactions, and genetic factors. Here's an overview of potential evolutionary changes: behavioral evolution, pack formation. Wild dogs may develop more complex social structures and pack behaviors similar to wolves, including hierarchy and coordinated hunting strategies. They might establish and defend territories to manage resources and avoid conflicts with other packs. They could evolve specialized hunting techniques suited to their environment and prey. This might include advanced pack hunting strategies or adaptations for scavenging. Adaptations for a varied diet, including the ability to consume a wider range of foods and efficiently exploit available resources, might occur. Physical evolution. Depending on the prey they hunt and the environment they inhabit, wild dogs might develop physical traits suited to their lifestyle. For example, they could become larger or more robust if they primarily hunt large prey. Adaptations in fur length and density might occur based on climate. For instance, dogs in colder regions might develop thicker coats. Improvements in senses such as smell, hearing, and vision could evolve to aid in hunting and navigation in the wild. Genetic evolution. If wild dog populations become isolated in different regions, genetic drift could lead to distinct local adaptations and variations. Genetic changes may help wild dogs better adapt to specific environmental conditions, such as different prey types or climates. Evolution might lead to increased resistance to diseases and parasites prevalent in their environment. This could involve genetic changes that enhance their immune system. Ecological evolution. As they evolve, wild dogs might fill specific ecological niches. For example, they could become primary predators of certain species, influencing local biodiversity and ecosystem dynamics. Impact on ecosystems. Their presence could affect the populations of other species, potentially leading to shifts in the ecosystem balance. This might influence the evolutionary trajectories of other species in response to the new predator. There could be hybridization with domestic dogs, leading to mixed traits and potential issues with genetic stability. Human-wildlife conflict. As wild dogs evolve and adapt, their interactions with human populations could lead to conflicts, especially if they prey on livestock or encroach on human settlements. Managing these conflicts will be crucial for their long-term survival and integration into the ecosystem. Overall, the evolution of feral dogs into wild dogs will be a dynamic process influenced by their environment, interactions with other species, and genetic factors. Their ability to adapt and thrive in various conditions will determine their role and impact on European ecosystems. The future evolution of feral dogs into wild dogs in Europe will likely result in a variety of physical and behavioral traits shaped by their environment, prey availability, and competition with other predators. Here's a speculative overview of what these future wild dogs might be like, including their potential size. Physical characteristics. Size, medium to large build. In general, wild dogs that evolve in Europe are likely to settle into a medium to large size, somewhere between modern wolves and domestic dogs. This would typically range from 40 to 70 centimeters, 16 to 28 inches, at the shoulder, with a weight between 20 to 40 kilograms, 44 to 88 pounds. Depending on their environment, there could be some size variation. Wild dogs in forested or mountainous areas where larger prey like deer are common might evolve to be larger and more muscular to tackle such prey. In contrast, wild dogs in regions with smaller prey might remain somewhat smaller and more agile. Body structure. Future wild dogs are likely to develop a more robust and muscular build, with strong legs and a deep chest optimized for endurance and strength. This would help them in long chases and tackling larger prey. Their limbs might become more specialized for running and navigating different terrains, whether forests, open plains, or rocky mountains. Coat and fur. To survive in the varied climates of Europe, wild dogs could develop thicker, more insulating fur, particularly in northern regions. Their coats might also become more weather-resistant, shedding water and providing warmth. The fur colors might evolve to provide better camouflage in their specific environments, with earthy tones like browns, grays, and whites depending on the habitat. Facial features. With a need for enhanced hunting abilities, their sense of smell and hearing might become more acute. This could lead to slight changes in facial structure, with a more pronounced muzzle and larger ears. Their eyes might become more adapted for night hunting, with improved night vision and possibly larger pupils to gather more light. Behavioral traits. Pack behavior. Future wild dogs will likely evolve highly social behaviors, forming structured packs similar to wolves. This pack behavior would enhance their hunting efficiency, especially for larger prey. They may develop sophisticated cooperative hunting strategies where each member of the pack plays a specific role during the hunt. Territoriality. These wild dogs would likely be territorial, with packs defending specific areas that provide sufficient resources. Territories could vary in size depending on prey density and competition with other predators. They might evolve distinct behaviors for marking and defending their territories, including vocalizations, scent marking, and aggressive displays against intruders. Dietary adaptations. Wild dogs would maintain a versatile diet, hunting a wide range of prey from small mammals to larger ungulates like deer. They might also scavenge when necessary, feeding on carrion or human refuse if available. Depending on the region, some populations might specialize in hunting specific types of prey, leading to subtle differences in size, strength, and hunting tactics between populations. Potential ecological role. Apex. Predator. In areas with fewer large predators, wild dogs could evolve to become one of the dominant predators, helping to control populations of herbivores like deer, which could have significant ecological impacts by preventing overgrazing. Competition with other predators. Interactions with wolves and lynxes. Wild dogs would likely compete with other predators such as wolves and lynxes. This competition might drive further evolutionary changes, such as increased size or changes in pack structure to better compete for resources. Long-term evolutionary trajectory. Over thousands of years, if left undisturbed by humans, wild dogs could evolve into a distinct species, potentially comparable to the way wolves evolved into distinct subspecies or how domestic dogs originated from wolves. This new species would be well adapted to Europe's varied environments, filling ecological niches left by other predators or developing new ones as ecosystems change. In the future, wild dogs in Europe could evolve into medium to large-sized, highly social predators with robust builds, thick camouflaged fur, and strong pack dynamics. Their size and specific traits would vary depending on their environment, but they would likely play a significant role as predators in European ecosystems, possibly rivaling or coexisting with other apex predators like wolves. The prey of wild dogs in Europe would depend on their size, environment, and the availability of different animal species. Here's a list of potential prey that wild dogs might hunt. Primary prey. Deer. Species like red deer, roe deer, and fallow deer could be significant prey for wild dogs, especially in forested and grassland areas. Wild boar. Wild dogs might hunt young or weakened wild boar, though adult boars could pose a challenge due to their size and strength. Small to medium-sized mammals, rabbits and hares. These would be a common target, especially in open areas and agricultural lands. Rodents. Wild dogs could prey on larger rodents like beavers, which are found in wetland areas, or on smaller rodents like voles and mice, especially in fields and meadows. Foxes. In some regions, wild dogs might compete with and occasionally prey on foxes, especially if food is scarce. Livestock in areas near human settlements, sheep and goats. In regions where wild dogs come into contact with human activities, they might prey on smaller livestock like sheep or goats, leading to potential conflicts with farmers. Poultry, chickens and other domestic birds might also be targeted if wild dogs venture into agricultural areas. Secondary prey. Birds. Ground nesting birds. Species like pheasants, partridges and grouse could be preyed upon, particularly during the breeding season when eggs and chicks are vulnerable. Waterfowl. In wetlands or near bodies of water, wild dogs might hunt ducks, geese or swans, particularly young or injured birds. Carrion. Scavenging. Wild dogs might also scavenge on carcasses left by other predators or animals that have died from natural causes. This could include larger animals like deer or livestock, fish and amphibians. Occasional hunting. In regions with abundant water bodies, wild dogs might occasionally catch fish, frogs or other amphibians, though this would likely be a minor part of their diet. Opportunistic hunting. Wild dogs, like other canids, are opportunistic hunters. This means they would likely prey on any available food source that they can catch and overpower. This could include insects and invertebrates. In times of food scarcity, they might consume insects, worms, or other invertebrates. Reptiles. Small reptiles like lizards or snakes could also be part of their diet in warmer regions. Wild dogs in Europe would likely prey on a variety of species, with a focus on ungulates like deer and wild boar, as well as small to medium-sized mammals like rabbits, hares, and rodents. They could also scavenge, hunt ground-nesting birds, and occasionally target livestock or poultry in areas near human settlements. Their diet would be diverse and adapted to the specific environment and prey availability in their habitat. The emergence of wild dogs as a distinct predator species in Europe could bring several ecological and environmental benefits, as well as some challenges. Here are the potential benefits. Ecological benefits: control of herbivore numbers. Wild dogs could help regulate populations of herbivores like deer, rabbits, and other mammals. This can prevent overgrazing, which protects vegetation and promotes biodiversity. Balancing small mammal populations. By preying on rodents and other small mammals, wild dogs could help control these populations, reducing the spread of diseases and crop damage in agricultural areas. Promotion of biodiversity, enhanced plant growth. With herbivore populations kept in check, plant species have a better chance to thrive, which can lead to greater biodiversity in forests, grasslands, and other ecosystems. Supporting other species. A healthy wild dog population can create opportunities for scavengers and other animals that rely on carrion, thus supporting a diverse range of species. Prevention of overpopulation, natural population control. In areas where native predators are absent or in decline, wild dogs can fill the ecological niche and help prevent overpopulation of prey species, maintaining a balanced ecosystem. Environmental benefits: ecosystem stability, resilience to environmental changes. By maintaining balanced predator-prey dynamics, wild dogs can contribute to the overall stability and resilience of ecosystems, helping them withstand environmental changes like climate shifts or habitat alterations. Nutrient cycling, scavenging, and decomposition. Wild dogs, like other predators, contribute to nutrient cycling by feeding on carrion and breaking down organic matter, returning nutrients to the soil and supporting plant growth. Socioeconomic benefits: reduced human-wildlife conflict. Control of pest species. By controlling populations of pest species like rodents, wild dogs can reduce the need for human intervention in managing these populations, potentially decreasing the use of poisons or other control measures. Protection of crops. In agricultural areas, wild dogs might help protect crops by keeping populations of herbivores like rabbits or deer in check, reducing crop damage. Ecotourism opportunities, wildlife watching. If wild dogs become a stable and recognized part of European ecosystems, they could attract interest from wildlife enthusiasts and contribute to ecotourism, especially in regions where they are viewed as an important part of the natural heritage. Potential challenges. While there are benefits, it's important to note that the emergence of wild dogs could also present challenges, such as human-wildlife conflict. If wild dogs prey on livestock or come into closer contact with human populations, there could be conflicts that need to be managed. Competition with native species. Wild dogs might compete with native predators like wolves or lynxes, which could lead to shifts in local ecosystems. Overall benefit, the emergence of wild dogs could bring significant ecological benefits by helping to maintain balanced ecosystems, promoting biodiversity, and contributing to the health of various environments across Europe. With careful management and consideration of potential challenges, wild dogs could become a valuable part of Europe's natural heritage.